Considering the current situation in Australia and how all politicians, besides just being dumb fucks, here's a quick word from our wise leader, Dan Andrews.
There will be no removal of masks to consume alcohol outdoors. So you will no longer be able to remove your mask to drink a cocktail.
They have managed to morph themselves into some kind of tentacle Cthulhu-like monster. Not only has that inspired me for the next film I will be discussing, but it's very possible that they were the inspiration for the film. If you think that the best movies in the 90s are subjective to each person, you would be wrong. The best movies from the 90s are, and this is not in order, Terminator 2, Total Recall, The Fifth Element, Starship Troopers, and Deep Rising. Sure, you could say Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, but again, you would be wrong. The 1998 movie Deep Rising is an action, horror, heist, comedy, and multiple other genres in one flick. Unlike my other videos, I won't be pointing out the good and the bad, but rather explaining why this movie is fucking awesome! Directed by Stephen Sommers, who later went on to direct The Mummy, The Mummy Returns, Van Helsing, G.I. Joe. Let's just remember him for the Mummy movies. But only 1 year before The Mummy came out, he had the criminally unknown and poorly reviewed monster masterpiece of Deep Rising. It has so many different genres combined into one film, but has managed to perfectly balance each and every one to give one of the best monster movies I have ever seen. Normally when movies try to mix this many things together, it does not really work out, but this film has managed to pull it off, as well as olive oil and ice cream, or chili and chocolate, or
lamb and tuna fish.
As much as I could dive into the atomic bomb of pure testosterone-filled action that this film delivers for hours on end, I will just point out a few reasons and hopefully convince you to watch this magnum opus of cinema. Simply put, this film sees a new luxury cruise ship on its maiden voyage, which gets struck by an unknown creature. Chaos follows on the ship, seeing some crazy shit happen, like this. A group of mercenaries are on a boat traveling to said ship to rob the rich, and when they get there, they find nothing but empty rooms
Man, looks like somebody had themselves one hell of a
and some not so empty. They find themselves being pursued by a giant tentacle monster. But not that kind of monster. This kind. And from then on, they just have to survive. The CGI ain't great in this movie, but it's so tightly wound in swashbuckling action and horror that it does not matter. The people who worked with Stephen Sommers enjoyed working on the film so much that they jumped at the chance to work with him again on The Mummy. This film should be a beacon for directors and producers alike that if you have fun with the work that you are doing, the people who watch it will have fun too. The first reason why this movie is great is everyone in the movie is a fucking asshole. You don't have the damsel in distress, you don't have the good guy facing the bad guy. Every one of the characters is just as shady as the one they're standing next to. You have Famke Janssen, who is a professional jewel thief. Treat Williams, the captain of a ship who's willing to work for the highest bidder no matter what the work. The ragtag team of militants who like nobody outside of their own circle. Anthony Heald as the owner of the ship, well, you just love to hate him. They're all looking out for themselves. Survival of the fittest. Sure, you find yourself rooting for some characters, but you never actually find yourself feeling bad when one dies. You just look forward to the messed up way the next person will die. Except Joey. What a sweetheart.
You got a real big mouth on you, you know that?
Yeah, I know that.
I don't like you.
You don't need...
I feel that they wrote the script for Kurt Russell for the character of John Finnegan, but couldn't get him, so they passed it on to Treat Williams. But that is not me saying he did a bad job. He had the charisma of Jordan Belfort. And I loved every moment that he was on screen. We get brilliant moments like this.
I heard of you, but I thought you'd be older.
Like a fine wine, I'm aging gracefully. Thank you. We got a contract. 20 hours out and back. You beat my engine man to death, it's gonna take a hell of a lot longer. Which is okay by me, since overtime will run you double rate.
To your boat. And
I can have whatever I want.
yeah, whatever you want.
Can you get me a cold beer?
I miss action heroes like this. The monster reveal is so perfectly timed that even Dream Theater would be taking notes from this movie. It begins with the ship's crew seeing something big on the radar heading towards them.
Big. Probably just a pod of whales. Moving at 31 knots, sir.
The beauty of the lady getting sucked into the toilet. The shaking of pipes showing that this thing is everywhere. People being dragged away by an unknown entity. Walls caving in. To the, I won't say big reveal, but a reveal that happens in an unsuspecting moment, which shows us something, to say lightly, fucking horrific. The build-up to the unknown is second to none, more so that you haven't even seen the full monster yet. This movie is a love letter to other monster movies that came before it. There are homages to multiple monster flicks. Let's have a look at some. You've got Predator with the mass firing in a direction of nothing. Which they even had some fun with by mocking it at the same time. You have the jump scare from Jaws with the dead body. Even the soundtrack has familiarity to Jaws. I might be reaching on this one, but I feel this one's pointed at aliens when Vasquez and Gorman were in the vent and blew themselves up with a grenade.
You always were an asshole, Gorman.
Kevin J. O'Connor has been in many movies throughout the years, but known arguably mostly for his comedic relief in The Mummy as Benny.
Oh, it looks to me like I've got all the horses!
Hey, Benny! Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river! Shit.
but it was due to his fantastically over-the-top personality and his lack of social awareness in this film that got him the role, which was even stated by the director that he enjoyed working with him so much, he just gave him the mummy. I think one of the craziest things about this movie is that you don't see the monster until over an hour into the movie, and at no point do you feel bored. There is nothing I don't like about this movie. With the world up in shambles and everything in life has now become political, it's just a breath of fresh air to go back and watch a movie that was made out of just pure fun and joy. From the dickish characters to the ridiculous concept, fantastic thrills and suspense, you can only really sum this movie up as a great movie. If your head is overwhelmed with bullshit or you're out of ideas of what to watch, go ahead and chuck this one on. From a scale of Tommy Wiseau to Steven Spielberg, I'm giving this movie a big fucking thumbs up.
I spent my whole life, my entire fortune building this ship. I'll be damned if I'm gonna lose it to a bunch of pencil-neck bankers.